every initiative, every project, and every dialogue aimed at ending the ongoing conflict between Israel and Palestine is a valuable effort for peace and humanity. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished members of the High Delegation, I would like to begin my speech by respectfully greeting you on behalf of the Marmara Group Foundation from Turkey. On this occasion, I would also like to express my gratitude to the Berlin Economic Forum and its esteemed President, Honorable Mark Donfried, for bringing us together, both on behalf of myself and my colleagues. Ladies and gentlemen, although our meeting is named after the economy, we are living in times when peace and security have taken priority in our world, which has truly become a global village. The war between Ukraine and Russia in Europe, the ongoing conflict between Palestine and Israel, and the uncertainties about the future of Iran, Syria, Iraq, and Lebanon are causing new crises in our region. Ukraine and President Volodymyr Zelensky are being condemned to isolation while Palestine is left without support. It is also a reality that the United States, despite the well-intentioned effort of French President Emmanuel Macron, is moving away from being the guarantor of European security. In Africa, the absence of democracy, lack of human rights, corruption and poverty, combined with food and water crisis, are driving waves of involuntary migration. China, as a major global power, is perceived by some as a threat and by others as an adversary. Meanwhile, Latin America is struggling with poverty, pushing its people towards new searches and migration. All of these issues are well known to you. So, what should we do? Whether we are talking about conflicts and injustice, economic and ecological crisis, discriminative oppression, or forced migration, we must now accept that none of us can live as if the rest of the world does not exist. We all have an ethical responsibility to carefully evaluate how we live, the choice we make, and the lifestyles we adopt. We can no longer live as isolated individuals disconnected from the events of our world. We were created to understand one another, and each encounter is defined by how we respond to it. We are social beings sharing the resources of this world and this planet. In other words, we live in a global community. And because of this, We share common values that transcend national, political, religious, racial, or cultural boundaries. This ethical awareness is based on the universal dignity of humanity. If we accept the reality that we are moving towards a multipolar world, then instead of chaos, conflict, and confrontation, we must work towards a fair, orderly, and balanced multipolar world. Equality is a key here. The competition for power, which has led to wars and disaster for humanity in the past century, must be replaced with a new order based on equal rights, equal opportunities, and clear rules to be the fundamental principles of the multipolar world. In other words, every country should be able to find its place and play its role within a multipolar system. Another crucial issue is respect for the rule of international law. Regardless of their size of power, all countries are stakeholders in upholding the rule of international law. Above all, major powers must not forget their responsibility to fulfill their commitments and uphold the rule of law. In other words, there should be no double standard when it comes to legal compliance. Furthermore, multilateralism must be implemented effectively. Instead of solely prioritizing our own interests, we must take responsibility in managing global issues. Instead of tearing down the pillars of international cooperation, we should work to strengthen its foundations. Security, civilization, and development initiatives are now global concerns. To achieve this, economic growth in our interconnected world must be based on openness and mutual benefit. To summarize, parties must seek ways to become partners rather than rivals. Ultimately, I believe that we must strive to make a difference in the world. As political and opinions leaders, if we can work together towards a shared goal, leaving a world for our children that is better than the one we inherited or created, we can offer renewed hope. We must build a world where conflict and war are not the solution to disagreements and divisions, where all religions and races are treated with equal respect and without discrimination, where law, the universal language of humanity, is upheld, and where the diversity of nature is preserved. To achieve this, dedication and dialogue will be the most essential paths forward. As I conclude my speech, I would like to mention the Berlin Initiative established within the framework of the Berlin Economic Forum. The Berlin Initiative is a peace initiative launched through the joint efforts of Dr. Yossi Beilin and Dr. Hiba Hüseyini. The Berlin Initiative is important for us. Every initiative, every project, and every dialogue aimed at ending the ongoing conflict between Israel and Palestine is a valuable effort for peace and humanity. Therefore, I sincerely appreciate and congratulate this initiative, which I consider important and valuable. I would also like to express our readiness to take on any role that may be required of us in this process. Furthermore, I extend my congratulations to Dr. Beilin and Dr. Hüseyini for launching such an initiative. Thank you for your kind attention and your interest. Thank you so much.